Hi everybody, welcome back to the kitchen. And I've been watching all the celebrations of fall. We're in October now. We did a little Oktoberfest. But one of the things that is, of course, a staple of autumn, no matter where you are, here in the desert or elsewhere, we don't have turning leaves, but we do have pumpkin spice sort of everything. So I decided that I was going to give in to the trend and do something pumpkin-y. And this actually, I started looking around, and my mother made something very similar to this, but she would use pumpkin, but she would use butternut squash, which was her preferred. And this is going to be similar. I kind of corralled several different recipes. Hey, Jan, good to see you. How is the Red Rock in Sedona? I hope it's gorgeous. So we're going to do a pumpkin bisque, and I think that this is going to be a great addition to your fall menu. We've got those great fall palette of flavors and colors. This is going to be a more savory. You can make kind of a creamy or sweeter version. This is still going to be creamy, but it's going to be a little more savory because we're going to garnish it. Normally I would do this with bacon, but I decided I would jazz it up. So I've roasted some slices of prosciutto and crumbled them, which is another one of my favorite garnishes on things. A little more delicate than the bacon. So we're going to garnish it with that. We're going to garnish it with a little sour cream. I've got some fresh chives that I'm going to slice up on it. So we're going to make the pumpkin bisque, and this could be, a terrific appetizer, first course for your Thanksgiving menu. I thought, what am I going to pair to have a beverage with? And then I realized when I make my pumpkin pie, or when I have my pumpkin pie, I like to have a little bourbon with it. When I make pecan pie, I have a little bourbon with it, so I thought we'll do that tonight. So cheers. Hey, Bill Cinso, good to see you. Welcome back into the kitchen. Hello, Gidra. So what we're going to do is make a pretty simple pumpkin bisque. The one thing that I'm going to do, and if you have a plunge blender, you can do it. If you don't, you have to pour it into your blender in batches and blend it up. But that way it'll come out nice and smooth at the end. That's our very final step. Hi, Mark. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. So, and the other thing that's going to make this a little more savory, we're going to start by sauteing some onion and a little garlic in some butter, which I've already got going. And then I'm going to add in, now I'm going to garnish it with this as well, but I'm going to add in some freshly grated gruyere cheese. We're going to put it right into the soup. So this is going to be there's a little smoky paprika in there. So this is a smokier version of this pumpkin bisque. I think it's a little more savory, and I prefer it that way myself. So you guys, I'll post the recipe when the video is over. I'll put everything I put into it. You can pick and choose. You can make this purely vegetarian if you want. I am going to use chicken stock. I'm going to garnish it with some a little bit of crispy prosciutto, but you don't have to do that. You can use vegetable stock and make a perfectly vegetarian version of this dish. And leave out the cheese. You can make it vegan if you want to. So that's real easy to do. And of course, I've got 1 can of pumpkin, Libby's pumpkin. We're going to put in some cream and some chicken stock. We're going to get all of those flavors blended in. So let's go ahead and get started. I've got the saucepan on over here. And what I'm going to do first, get you guys a little closer. I'm also making some pork Milanese cutlets for dinner to try with this. And so I've got a little apple chutney going over there for that. So I've already got my butter sauteed or melted. We're going to add in our onion. Just like that. Get it all in there. Turn the heat back up. I didn't want to scald my butter. All right. So we'll get those just for a few minutes until they're nice and translucent, and then we'll add in the garlic. As always, I add in my garlic a little bit later so that it doesn't get burnt on me and become really bitter. I don't like that in my garlic, and you probably don't either. I didn't dice this onion up real fine because, again, I'm going to be using the plunge blender at the end of this, and we're going to blend everything down into a beautiful, nice, smooth puree. So you can kind of chop up your onion. It doesn't have to be finely diced. So we're going to put that in there. The spices we're going to use, a little paprika, and we're going to use a little cumin, just a little, and a little ginger. So as I said, this is going to be maybe a little bit different than the pumpkin bisques you had before. As I said, I kind of prefer something a little more savory. Oh, you're on vacation. Nice. Well, that's good. Liz Senso, who works over at Gelson's, where I do a lot of shopping for my segments. And this was pretty simple, and I didn't need a lot of stuff. I actually was able to just run to make a quick grocery run today. I want to give a shout out to my buddy Rick Impey over at All of a Sudden. When I was making some of this chutney here, I used some of his product. And he's carrying Fulvio's. I restocked the freezer over there so you can go get your Fulvio's Italian sausage from All of a Sudden at Waring Plaza. I would love it if you would do that. You're going to need sausage soon. If you're not a regular consumer, you're going to need it for your stuffing. Oh, thanks, Debbie. Yeah, I think this is a really it's a variation on the recipe that I kind of grew up with, but I think it's going to be very good and very interesting and very tasty. But you're going to need to make stuffing, and when you're going to make stuffing, you want to put that sausage in it, good Italian sausage. And so for the stuffing for the bird in November, you'll want to pick up some Fulvio's Italian sausage from the Real Italian Deli or from my buddy Rick at All of a Sudden. He's got a freezer full of it, both the spicy and the mild. I know a lot of people say the spicy is spicy, and it is. It's the way my old man liked it. It's the way Tony, my father, made it. Definitely on the spicy side. All right, we've got the onions coming along nicely. I'm going to add in the garlic. There we go, just a little garlic. I've cut the heat back a little bit. Again, I don't want to burn my garlic. Oh, this is beginning to smell real nice. That's 2 cloves of garlic that I just smashed with the meat mallet that I used to tenderize chicken and veal. It worked very well. I'm going to do a pork tenderloin cutlets, Milanese. So I've already breaded those. They're ready to go. I'm just going to fry those up. They'll be real fast. I'm not going to do that right now. We're going to focus on this pumpkin bisque. So we've got that. The garlic is becoming very nice and aromatic. The onions are softening up beautifully. That's good. That is excellent so far. I want you guys to know that I even decorated for, ignore the shopping bag, it's empty. But I decorated for tonight's edition of In the Kitchen. How about that? Some gourds. Don't they look gorgeous? I'm worried that they might get stolen, but that's why I have gourd dogs here. My pumpkin jokes. I have to get those in. All right, now, while we're letting those onions soften up just a little bit more, we're going to start to put in our wet ingredients. So I'm going to need about 2 to 3 cups of chicken broth. So we're going to come back over. We can put that in. Let me grab my measuring cup. I also wanted to pause for a sip. I certainly hope that you guys have had a good week. Been an interesting week of weather here in the Coachella Valley. We had thunderstorms late Monday into Tuesday. Cloudy all day today. We're anticipating maybe some showers tonight. I don't think it's going to amount to much. All right. So I got 2 cups of chicken stock. Chicken broth, actually. It's going in the pot. That's good. I'm going to add the cream in later. And so let's put our other spices in here in a moment. First, I got to get our pumpkin in there. The star of the show is our pumpkin. You only need 1 15-ounce can of pumpkin for this. So we'll put that in. Turn my heat back up. Get my stock bubbling a little bit. Got onion, garlic in there. We'll put some salt and pepper in a little bit. Trusty can opener drawer. There we go. I want to get all of this pumpkin goodness in there. So we're going to just spoon this in like that. Got all of that pumpkin in there. So 1 15-ounce can of pumpkin. I went looking at pumpkin should be plentiful this time of year, but it actually took me 2 stops to find it. But find it I did. All right, I'm gonna get all of that. Got all of that, emptied the can. We're in good shape. Now let's stir that in and just in the gourd room. Very nice. You're out of your gourd, Dave Tays. I just thought I'd share that with you. All right, I'm gonna stir this into my stock so we have a nice pumpkin-y mix, and I'll show you what it looks like here. You still got, I haven't blended it yet, so there's still the onion in there. Let me just get, you want to just stir this in and let it dissolve nicely right into the chicken broth that you're using. Just like that. All right, that's good. Let's take a look here. Okay. Oh, yeah, David. Well, Wolfgang Puck does. He has several million on me. I saw the HBO special. I don't know if you guys, my friend David Wall talking about Wolfgang Puck. I don't know if you guys saw the HBO special on his life story. Really, really fascinating. He grew up in an abusive childhood, and he just wanted nothing more than to escape from his just evil stepfather. And he eventually did, slipped off to France and worked at one of the great, 5 stars there, and then went to the United States, and, the rest is history. Here's a guy who was driven to succeed because his stepfather kept telling him, you're never going to amount to anything. So don't let people tell you that. All right, we're going to put a little salt and pepper in here, just a little bit. Richard Herwig is not here. That's why I'm on camera. He is on a cruise that I was supposed to go on and with him. It's going to be a buddy cruise, and he's enjoying the heck out of it. It's just one of those 3-day cruises down to basically Ensenada and back. But we're a little short-staffed in the weather department, so I couldn't, in good conscience, leave Haley to do all of the newscasts. That would have been not very nice. Plus, my passport had expired. Always check your passport. The day I was going to upload my information, it expired. So, anyway, Richard is off on that cruise, and that's why I don't have a cameraman, because I was supposed to be on that cruise, which would have been fun. I could have made dinner from the Lido deck or something. All right, we've got a little ginger. We're just going to put in just a little bit, like maybe a teaspoon, not quite. Some ginger. Add some paprika. I like a little more of that. And we're going to throw in just a little ground cumin, just a little. There's no sprinkler in this, so I've got to be real careful because I don't want to overpower that. There we go. There's just a little tiny bit, maybe a little bit more. Just, there we go. That's good. Very powerful flavor there, so always cautious with that. Then we're going to add in some brown sugar. Richard, you're on a cruise. What are you doing watching this? Most of the day, he didn't even have his phone charged. Or at least that was the excuse he had for not talking to us. So he's enjoying his cruise. All right, we're going to stir that in. So we got our ginger, our cumin, a little brown sugar, and a little paprika. And you're going to notice a difference in the color now. A little richer, deeper color. I miss you too, and I miss being on our boat. That was supposed to be our big cruise, but, things happen. I'm going to add about a cup of the chicken stock. Maybe not quite, just to give it a little more. It's a little thick. I want to thin it out just a little bit. Turn my heat up. Oh. So again, this is more of a savory. You can do it and make it a little sweeter, but you've seen the things that I've put in here. The onion, the garlic. We've got ginger. We've got, now I did balance that with a little brown sugar. I did about 1/2 tablespoon of brown sugar. You can probably put a little more in if you prefer that. All of these are just kind of ways to variate it and make it your own. So it's a ship. Richard says it's a ship. Is it? No, it's an incredible cruise Richard is on. He is on this, just, you know, one of those nice little, all right, it's a booze cruise. We know them. We know what they are. But it runs down, he stopped, he got on board yesterday. They're only about, I think the ship's only about, how many, let's just ask him, Richard, how many people does that ship normally carry? Because there are only about 900 people on the boat right now. And most of them are travel agents like Richard. So this was a chance for Carnival to, is it Carnival or It's Princess. Princess to acquaint you with this ship, which is going to be sailing from the West Coast. This is his first LA sailing. I got to open my cream. I butchered it. There we go. So I'm going to put a cup of cream in here. Oh, that's lovely. Very nice. Good. That's, you can use 1/2 and 1/2 if you like. If you want to make it a little lighter. All right, so the ship, you're telling me, Richard, is only a quarter full. There are 900 people on a ship that holds 4,000. That's pretty remarkable. All right, now we've got our heavy cream in there, and I'm going to bring this up to a little simmer. Look how pretty that is. Isn't that not gorgeous? That is a really nice color. And we're going to simmer all of those ingredients down for just a few minutes. Now I'm saving the cheese. I'm going to put some in and melt it right into the bisque. So that's really going to give it a little hardiness. This is a gruyere. You can use a smoked gruyere if you want a more smoky flavor. I'm saving most of it to garnish on top, but I like to actually melt it into the bisque itself to give it more body and to give it that wonderful cheesiness. I'm just going to wait for my temperature to come up on the soup just a little bit. It's a bisque, not a soup. Bisque is a soup, isn't it? It's sort of bisque is a subset of soups, right? Crab would be good in this. I was thinking about making, my friend and chef friend Dave Tays, crab would be good in this. I was thinking about doing a roasted red pepper bisque with crab, which is one of my favorite things. There was an old restaurant in Charlottesville, outside of Charlottesville where I grew up, called the Bavarian Chef. And he had a wonderful roasted red pepper, bell pepper soup. Hey, Tammy. And he did it with lump crab in the middle when he served it. Oh, it was so good. All right, so now I'm going to melt that in there. Maybe just a sprinkle more. It's melting nicely. Gruyere's got a nice, fairly low melting point. So I just grated up a block of Gruyere and I'm melting that in. Oh, this is looking really good. Let me turn you guys there so you can see what we got going on. This is coming out real nice. And I'm going to check our spice level in just a second. I've gotten really bad, and I don't know, for you guys that cook a lot, I've gotten into the bad habit of not taste testing things on recipes that I make frequently. And I think that's a bad habit to be in. I think it's really important to taste test as you go along, especially on recipes you don't make very, you know, if it's something you make a lot, maybe you can forego it. But I sometimes forget even on the recipes that I don't make often. All right, let's try this. Oh, that's real nice. That is very nice. With the cheese, I could cut back on the salt a little bit. I think I might have erred a little bit on the salty side. It's not crazy salty, but there's a bit of salt to it. But other than that, I think we're in good shape. All right, we're gonna let that simmer for just a couple of moments. While we do that, I'll pause and have a quick sip. So this is, I think, a great fall dish, and pumpkin will soon be mass-wide available as we get closer and closer to Thanksgiving. Everybody's going to be making pumpkin pie, pumpkin this, pumpkin that. So, of course, you want to pick up some and set it aside and make this bisque, and I think it would be a great first course for a Thanksgiving dinner. That's sort of a hint to the family. All right, now I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit. Do this really carefully. We're going to plunge blend this. All right. But you don't want to scald yourself. You don't want to scald the dogs that are sitting below you. I'm going to put this on low. And I'm just going to plunge blend it until everything is nice and smooth. When you're doing this, be really, really, really careful. Let the plunge blender do all the work. I want you guys to see what they're doing here. Let the plunge blender do all the work. Keep it on the bottom of the pot so you don't splash too much, because this is hot soup. When you're here doing that, slow down. Just keep that plunge blender right on the bottom of the pan. I'm putting it in the middle, and I'm just letting the bisque come to it. Pumpkin infused aged bourbon. That sounds pretty good. You know, it is a bisque, so you want it to be nice and smooth, not chunky. Get all of our onion. Remember, I kind of rough cut that onion, so I want to get all of it nicely blended in, and I think we're just about there. Take that out. And give it a good stir. We didn't make too much of a mess, which is nice. And now we have a beautiful creamy pumpkin bisque that looks absolutely delicious. Now that can cook down for a little bit more. And one thing I did note, I think it is just a little salty. I'm going to add a little more of my brown sugar to it, which I think will balance it out just a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit more. There we go. Now let's stir that in. And that should balance those flavors pretty well. All right, stir that in. This can simmer. Gotta watch it. We got a lot of cream in there. Got a full cup of cream. So it will scorch if it sticks to the bottom of your pan. So make sure you don't do that. And you can let that simmer for as long as you like, but we're essentially done. And I'm going to try it again to see what we've done here. Make sure it is acceptable to the palate. Oh, that is outstanding. That is really quite good. Again, more savory, less sweet, but I did add some more brown sugar, which I think really helped it a lot. Wash it down with some bourbon. That always helps. And now let me show you what the finished product will look like. So we're going to make sure I got it all blended. I did a pretty good job of blending it in there. That's not bad at all. Just going to take some out, put it in my bowl here. And this is going to be a hearty little dish. So small bowls, perfectly fine. Depending on how you're going to use it. And it would be a great main dish, quite honestly. I think on a cold autumn night, that's a great main dish. All right, you guys come back over here with me, and we're going to finish up this delicious pumpkin bisque. So we got that. Getting my chives. Let me just get a few of those. Hold on one second. Get my snips. Snip that up. That's something I should have done in advance. There you go. Always something you forget about. So we're going to sprinkle some chives on that. That's beautiful. Just like that. And then I'm going to swirl in a little of my sour cream. And I'm just going to give it a swirl like that. Good. Beautiful. So we've swirled in the sour cream. And then we're going to take some of our prosciutto crumbles and put that right on top. Grab some more chives, put that on top, and voila. Let me bring the camera down where you guys can see this a little bit better. Pardon my giant hand. All right, there is our pumpkin bisque, garnished with crisp prosciutto and a little sour cream and some fresh chives. And I'm covered in crisp prosciutto. Give me 1 second. Let's have a little taste and see, now that I've got it all the way we like it. Stir that in. I'm going to stir in my sour cream. Oh, the contrast, and this will really, when you put the prosciutto on this, it brings out the sweetness of the pumpkin. So you get that nice balance. Remember, I added a little extra brown sugar. Oh, and I forgot to put my gruyere on top. Put a couple of sprinkles of gruyere because you gotta have that cheesy goodness. I always forget one of the garnishes. This, now that is fantastic. That can easily be a main course. Makes a great first course for your autumn dinner table. Whatever you're doing, that is really outstanding. I have to tell you. There were a number of different recipes and variations. Like I said, my mother made one that was very similar. It was more of a butternut squash. You could use pumpkin, you could swap them out. Kind of 6 of one, half dozen of the other. We grew butternut squash, so we always had it available. That stuff grows like crazy. So that's our dish tonight, pumpkin bisque, and I'll add the recipe into the video right on top, and then I'll throw it onto my YouTube channel, In the Kitchen, Patrick Evans. You can find it. It's fantastic. It turned out really well. I think you'll like this recipe a lot, especially, I can't let the prosciutto go to waste. Oh, it's so good. Crispy prosciutto. It's good on almost anything. What you do, take a pan, lay some parchment paper, and just put those little thin slices on your pan and broil it in the oven on low, and then crumble the prosciutto up. Let it go for about 5 minutes until it curls and is crispy. And you can put that on a lot of different soups. It's great in salads. I really recommend that. Update on tomorrow's rain. It's going to be very light. Now, in San Diego County, we're going to see some more significant rain. In the mountains, there is a potential for as much as an inch of rain in the mountains. But here, we're talking about 1/10 of an inch or less. The storm just doesn't have a lot of moisture to it. There's some moisture building in to our south down in San Diego County, so we're going to keep an eye on that. But the clouds have been with us all day. This storm's going to kick out of here. We're going to have a pretty Friday afternoon, great Saturday and Sunday, and then another storm comes in on Monday and Tuesday, and that is going to bring us some sharply cooler weather here in the desert. We're going to be down in the 70s. Hi, Christina. Nice to see you. Richard in Ensenada, it won't matter what the weather is because you're going to be at one of the bars working on your drink package. I know you. He won't lay eyes on Ensenada. He'll see it from his balcony. All right, guys, that's our pumpkin bisque. I'll put all the information up, and don't forget to go by and say hi to my buddy Rick Impey at All of a Sudden. If you're looking for real good specialty foods, always run by Gelson's. They'll have what you need, I guarantee it. Those are the folks who help me make this cooking show each week. All right, everybody have a great rest of your week and a great weekend. I want to give a shout out to my stepdaughter, Vesta. It's going to be her 13th birthday, and we're going to be celebrating that this weekend, both here and in LA. It's going to be a wild weekend of fun. So happy birthday to Vesta, 13th. We've got 2 teenagers in the house. So, of course, we will accept and ask for all of your prayers. Thank you. Have a great rest of your week and your weekend. Be safe, and join me next week back here in the kitchen.